What's going on? What's going on, everybody?
Hey, hey.
Here we go. How y'all doing? What's up? How's it going? It's Breland Tilford here, live with A. That's the organization. If you don't know about it, you should look us up. And this is our Friday night news dump.
Yes, everybody. I'm Stefan Deagle, and welcome to Project Americans Forward and Live AF. This is the live stream show of Project Americans Forward. And Project AF, just so you all know, we're new to the scene, but everything we have to talk about is not so new. It's current. We are an independent media and grassroots civic initiative focused on fostering dialogue, increasing civic awareness, and helping communities engage with the many complex issues through storytelling, education, and trusted partnership. And Project AF is powered by creative collaboration between Media Pros Productions and The Narrative Company, where our work
That's
centers
right.
on creating accessible, people driven spaces where information leads to understanding. And especially with these times, Breland, and understanding leads to action. As you mentioned
That part.
in today's stream, we're calling it the Friday Night News Dump, and we're
Yes,
talking
yes.
more about ICE and the arrest of two journalists for actually doing their constitutionally protected job in these United States of America.
All right. And this is the backdrop of the release of more troves of the Epstein files. I mean, like, come on. Should we cue up the
Yeah,
first post? Should we cue it up?
very much so. Very much so. As you pulled that up, just to keep you eyes up in the loop, because it's a fast news cycle at all different times of the day, especially under this administration. That's not if you're a Republican or a Democrat. That's just the reality we are all living. We've been seeing the things that have been going on in Minnesota. It's been horrible to see what's going on with ICE and so on and so forth. And you may wonder, why is all this happening? I think many
Mhm.
Americans are starting to wake up to why that is, and it's called the Epstein files.
Hmm.
Millions of files were dropped today, which is why we're calling the show the Friday Night News Dump,
Yes.
where it's some disturbing details that have come out about our current president, Donald J. Trump. This screen grab here is one of the redacted files that was released. And before we read it to you, these set of files you're about to see here, the DOJ ended up killing the link to this information in real
Crazy.
time tonight. So you have
Crazy.
journalists who've screen grabbed this and continue to put it out there. So we just want to read you what they're trying to hide. So it
Yes.
may be tough to see, but just read along with me here if you can. Something redacted reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform oral sex on President Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. The friend
Wow.
told Alexis that she was approximately 13 to 14 years old when this occurred, and the friend allegedly bit President Trump, aka his you know what, while
What?
performing oral sex. The friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump's pecker. The friend said she was also abused by Epstein. Let's see. At age 16, while modeling, caller attended 8 parties at Epstein's New York residence. On one occasion, the caller reported she was sexually assaulted by Epstein. On another occasion, two twin brothers, Alan and Orrin, lured caller and her friend upstairs, but they escaped back downstairs. Caller, it stated, Orrin raped her best friend, and a third brother, Ty, raped a 14-year-old girl named Katie LNU. Caller named other individuals involved in big orgy parties with her, other young girls, and older Victoria's Secret models, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. Online complainant reported that she was a victim and witness to a sex trafficking ring at the Trump golf course in Rancho Palos Verdes, California, between 1995 and 96. The complainant reported that Ghislaine Maxwell, as the madam and broker for the sex parties, clients of whom included Epstein. Robin Leach and Donald Trump, complainant, reported participating in orgies and that some girls went missing, rumored to have been murdered and buried at the facility. Complainant reported being threatened by Trump's then head of security that if she ever talked of what went on there, who she saw, that he would end up as a fertilizer for back nine holes like the other cunts.
Sheesh.
The complainant claims to have video of high-profile sex parties dealing with cartels and having witnessed Robin Leach strangle a young girl to death at a party.
What?
All right. Need to read
Oh my.
anything else?
Do we need to go any deeper, or do we want to just unpack that? Because that was
It's just,
a lot.
I mean,
That's crazy.
I'll say this before I get your reaction here.
Mm-hmm.
How exhausted are you, America?
Right.
How exhausted? You know, like this. I mean, this kind of stuff is really uncovering the crude and corruption. No one here is saying, "Oh no, see, oh Bill Clinton's in there, so Trump's good because they're all the same." No. What did Bill Clinton say when Trump
Mm-hmm.
tried to weaponize, you know, oh, Clinton's in there and they leaked these files about Clinton, and Clinton says, "Hey,
Bring the
please release
cameras.
everything."
Right.
Yes, come on. You know,
Mm-hmm.
everybody looks a little dirty, but it's really uncovering the dirty secret of America is that it was always ruled by a few billionaires, and they live a lawless, immoral life on the back of America, who is suffering, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. When you get, I mean, this is a Friday night news dump of epic proportions. And remember what I just read to you. The DOJ has killed the link on. But thank God for independent media like Project AF and others who are doing the God-inspired work to save our democracy. This is what this is all about. If you're not outraged, you should be outraged because now it's about to become which side of history do you want to be on?
Right. It's not a left and a right thing. This is a backwards and forward thing. This is an up versus down thing. When we as
Mhm.
Americans can understand that, that's when we can actually make true change. And that's when we can like understand truth from like what's they're trying to feed us. Like we need to understand right now, like there's a reason why we're seeing all these other chaos, like you mentioned, happening all at X, Y, and Z and Iran and the and what's happening in Venezuela. This is all happening in a moment when literally these these Epstein files are being released. Not even at the same 2 million files. I mean, this is crazy. This is
Very much
crazy.
so. And
Oh,
I think that I think that when it's so great that we're starting talking about this because Trump and his administration is relying on 2016 tactics,
mhm,
2020 tactics, right?
exactly.
Disinformation, so confusion. Oh, they're against you. And it's almost like pitting fools against each other, right? And he's exploiting America. Exploiting America. And he's showing just how dumb America could be.
Yeah.
And now I feel like this is a moment of awakening, right? We just heard did you just hear what I just read? You see
I don't
how
want to hear it
casual, like,
again.
oh man, that's so crazy. Yeah, I'm sure those victims who have been pounding their fist in Washington
Right?
for them to release the files. President Trump meet with the victims. He doesn't even want to meet with them. Well, when you hear details like this and people were murdered, I believe it.
Mhm,
Because why are you working so hard to hide this? And as a
mhm,
result, and a perfect segue, that explains everything that has been
mhm.
happening in Minnesota. That explains everything that happened in Chicago, LA, Baltimore, everywhere. That's why people are going around saying melt the ice, abolish,
Yeah.
defund ICE, you know? And it's so ironic how the word defund and abolish has all of a sudden become popular. But
Hmm.
in 2020, we were talking about law enforcement and their attrition on black lives. Well, the good old boys
That
have now shown themselves, my friend.
and I think that's what you just said is it. You know, I think people the reality is when black people we experience things very quickly. And that's why
Oh yeah.
2020 happened, but 2020 was almost like a premonition everybody faces because at the end of the day, what we even saw in the 1963 civil rights movement was the same thing. You saw what Huey Newton and what the black, I mean the rainbow, these different things that were happening with that,
Mhm.
like unity. That's when you're talking about unity and it's beyond. It's more of a attack on classism versus color of skin. That's a distraction, and I think that's
Not
like
only is
something
it
too, you know.
you hit it on the head. Distraction, distraction, distraction. Oh, bird, you see that? Oh yeah, don't worry about that thing over there. That's what he thinks America's about right now, and many would
Facts.
argue, and some have argued that Trump supporters, for all of their loyalty, they've been exploited because most of
Hmm.
them are poor white Americans. Okay,
Exactly.
poor
I
white
mean,
Americans
nice.
yeah. No, like this is exactly where I'm going. Like you just said it. He's exploiting this from a race perspective where he has
Hmm.
convinced the poorest of us to believe that we, the people of color, and everybody else is against them, and that their struggle is his struggle and vice versa. But the whole time he's been with the billionaires, which, as you know, big in Kentucky. You can go down to Southeast, they don't do too well with those to the white collar, right? It's a very blue collar place where they may like Trump, but you know what? They got those old Kentucky roots. How do you think Mitch McConnell, survived all those years? Right? He knew what the values were. Think about Rand Paul. How does he understands the value of it. He's the number one proponent of checking how much money we're spending. Imagine what he must be saying now,
Right.
right? DHS funding. Well, will you kick that can down the road for 2 more weeks? They get a CR, continuing resolution to keep the government open 2 more weeks. Do you think they're gonna have a decision and be like, oh yes, ICE is fine now in 2 weeks? No, it makes you really question. Maybe the government should shut down. It will hurt people, but how much hurt? How much more hurt can we get when we already had the longest shutdown in history at his hands, the top two under
Exactly.
his administration.
And I think a lot of these communities that are, I think the people that are the loudest on that side are, for the most part, the ones that are most marginalized. And when you see things
Yep.
being cut, like Medicaid, assistance, all these different things that are being stripped away, that's when you really start seeing how much money and how much of an impact is going to be removed from these communities, right? When you see, oh, they used to be in this rural community, no longer here, and now that grocery store that used to be that have all these different items no longer can
Mhm.
support that because SNAP benefits are taken away. Oh, like the hospitals that were providing good jobs, people coming here, that's going away. Like people understand and the reality is, Stefan, what you said earlier, which was very interesting, was very accurate. All these things that we're experiencing, that we are as Americans, as all are about to experience and are experiencing, is just because people want to continue to be in power. They're willing to take our rights away in order to get the truth from us, because they know if we found out what actually is going on, there would be uproar. There would be no,
Yep.
oh, this and and a lot of these ice, like we talked about earlier this week, trained, properly trained. That's a lot of these people are either people that have, like, I was looking at it. One of the ICE agents had. Actually, I don't want to go, but
Mhm.
essentially, he had been charged with abusing a minor. Now he's going and capturing minors, young kids. It's like to see
Yeah.
this happening in real time, like, and these uneducated people are now, and that's why we see what's happening with that's why we see what's happening with Renee Good and with Alex Preddy. Like,
Mhm.
people are not trained. These people are the same people that are there in the insurrection, attacking the. But let's not dive on a soapbox box right now. Let's
No, no,
keep this
no.
thing
Here's the
going.
thing. Here's the thing, though.
Hmm.
Everything you're expressing, this is what Americans need to do more of. We're seeing it around the country. America is waking up, right? We don't even have time to sit here and for let's we are black people. You and I were black men last I checked, right?
Yeah.
Just because I'm speaking of something from my black perspective doesn't make me anti the other, right?
Hmm.
And the
Facts.
thing that we must understand is that as upset as people of color were, right, and the other 70 plus million Americans who voted for Kamala Harris to be president of the United States, understanding the threat of what we're experiencing right now, right? We cannot sit here and say to the Latinos for Trump, right? Told you so, da 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 da. That's already happening in the streets of public opinion, right? But now, in this moment of awakening, we as Black people, we've been sitting at the table. We've been fighting this fight. And when we sat this one out, now we have two white Americans
Hmm.
shot down by their government in
Yeah.
broad daylight with the cameras rolling with a concealed carry. And you're telling us, oh my God, domestic terrorism. And I don't know about you, but if you just look around the street and scratch just beyond the surface, I must say it is a refreshing sight to see America be sick and tired of being sick and tired,
I
right?
agree.
You've got old people
100%.
coming out. You've got Black Vietnam vets in the street understanding the atrocity and trauma of that time. I just was sitting here talking to a colleague earlier today, talking about the significance between, you know, Kent State and what happened to Renee Good and Alex Preddy.
Hmm.
Kent State was off of the Vietnam anti-war movement, and they sent in all the National Guard, 3,500 of them, right? 3,500. And the students packed up and organized even more. They resisted. 4 lives were lost. They shot. There was no accountability. I swear to you, Breland, it sounds so similar, and they're using old playbooks. And
Hmm.
America's just not that dumb. We're dumb, but we ain't that dumb. We choose to be passive about things because that's the privilege we have in this democracy if we shall keep it, right? So that's why we have a fascist in position. It's not, oh, it's on its, it is here, right? It is here. This leads us into what? What happened today? The Friday night news dump. Things we're, not going to dig too deep in, but he's already picked a Fed chair, a new Fed chair. Like that's going to make anything work. And the markets are tied to that. Distraction, distraction.
Hmm.
Oh, let me go arrest some journalists. Distraction,
Right.
distraction. And that's our cue.
There.
I mean, come
By the
on.
way, Don Lemon did. He was just released.
Wow. Well, praise be to
After
God for
yeah,
that.
I know. Amen. Amen. So that we still doesn't change the fact we have an attack on our First Amendment, and I think that's something that we've never really seen in our history of America that I can remember. People being arrested. Now we hear about what's happening in Iran. We hear about what's happening in other countries. People being journalists being killed, but to see people literally like Bonnie literally saying, "Hey, we're going to get these people a warrant to get arrest these people." Should we just cue? Let's just cue it up.
Yep.
Just cue it up.
So as you
So
see here, yep. Look at the headlines over
look at it.
time. You
Mm-hmm.
got to breathe. It's like, I mean, we started appeals court rejects Justice Department in their push for the arrest warrant for Don Lemon. The department had made an extraordinary request for the appeals court to force a judge to issue warrants for Mr. Lemon and 4 other people in connection with the church protests in Minneapolis. Then it goes on to where the judge declines to approve criminal complaint against Don Lemon over church protests. Again, they tried again. The Justice Department would seek to find other avenues to pursue a case against Mr. Lemon, a senior law enforcement official said, all leading to this Friday night news dump where federal agents arrested at this point, Don Lemon over the Minnesota church protests. And just for those of you who are not familiar, Breland, if you could
Yeah.
give us up that church, just a clipping of the church protest, and
Yep.
please help me find the crime.
Let's cue it up real quick.
This is the beginning of what's going to happen here. When you violate people's due process, when you pull people off the street, you start dragging them and hurting them and not abiding by the Constitution. When you start doing all of that, people get upset and angry. And if you remember what the Civil Rights Movement was about, the Civil Rights Movement was about these very kinds of protests. There's nothing in the Constitution that tells you what time you can protest. You can protest at any time. That's the whole point of it, is to disrupt, it's to make uncomfortable. And that's what they're doing. And that's what I believe when I say everyone has to be willing to sacrifice something. You have to make people uncomfortable in these times. If you see how uncomfortable people...
I mean, like,
What a message.
you got to give it to him. Like, that is
What a
journalism. And I
message.
think that's journalism. And I think that's what it takes. It takes that. Like,
That is the charge, Breland. That
mm-hmm.
is the charge. I think that, look, I'm a former local TV news journalist. I'm still a journalist, right? You're a journalist. right? I mean, I've seen all of my colleagues with the National Association of Black Journalists, the NAACP, people from the Washington Post who don't look like us, because it's really not about, well, that's not my issue. It needs to become everybody's issue. You know, we have to sit here and become resistant. You have actors in Hollywood. I know they get a lot of slack. Oh, the liberal elite. Oh my God. No. Typically, you have people who are not, they're usually quiet about this. This is the same moment Dr. King
Mhm.
had with Stokely Carmichael back in the 60s. Dr. King wanted to continue nonviolence, but they're killing black people, right? And then all of a sudden, Stokely Carmichael say, "Oh, forget that, man. We need to fight back." Dr. King still's assassinated as a nonviolent man because his words and the power of his movement of people. The Black Panther Party stopped by the FBI because they don't like the organization, the galvanizing of people. We have the power in this country, right? We have the power, and we are just here to show America to herself. And I just love that for us. It's scary times, but it really will tick down to what all the ancestors that built this country, collectively and individually by race. But we do know that America's built on the backs of black people, right? This
We
is a
do.
nation of immigrants. This
Exactly.
is
And I
what
think
makes America great.
even to piggyback on that, it's like, we have to get used to right now in this day and age, we've got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I
That's
think
it.
that's Don just said, and that we just have to do. I mean, right now, Stefan, you're an Oscar winning, Emmy winning journalist. I am just the guy behind the camera. And that's what I've done. But unfortunately, fortunately, thanks to me, I'm now up here, using my voice to be able to
Hmm.
let people know, like me, just the power of just community and connection. But in this, you have to be uncomfortable, and I've got to be uncomfortable, right? Even talking to you all right now, it's
Hmm.
uncomfortable. But
Hmm.
um, I think that's what it takes. I mean, I've traveled to Central America, to
Yeah.
Africa. I've traveled all over this country telling stories, and have lost lives in some of the stories that I've worked in. It's a scary feeling. I've been in scary environments where I have had
Hmm.
no control over what's gonna the next life and what could be. And so but it's being able to go there and tell these stories so that people
Hmm.
in America and other people can understand what is actually going on. I'll never forget one of the most impactful stories I ever did in 2016 with the Presbyterian Church USA. And I went to Central America to find out why people were coming to America, because during the first administration, it was all about building that wall.
Hmm.
How can we build this wall
Yep.
to keep everybody awake from coming in the city? We've been fighting this fight for a very long time. It's just ahead, but it
Yep.
was all about
Yep.
this physical wall. And I just was like, all right, let me just understand why I go to Central America. And
Yep.
when I went, I understood the whole before it was, people just want to steal our what and
Yep.
then, but that's not why they were coming here. They were coming here because they were oppressed. They were in environments that we're
Yep.
in right now where they had to leave because there was no jobs. There wasn't anything. All there was the police, and both sides are corrupt. Don't choose that side. There's no other option. You're either going to die or you're going to have to leave.
Yep.
But you have your whole
And
families, right? So, mhm.
no, I was
And
just
so it's
gonna.
seeing that part too. And then Guatemala, poverty,
Mhm.
all from Canada, and buying all the different farmland in Guatemala, and there's
Yep.
no money. They're making like pennies on the dollar, a day. So it's like seeing why people are fleeing. Nobody's fleeing because they want to come here. Nobody wants to leave their family. People are leaving because they have to, and they've had to, and a lot
Yep.
to is because of what we as Americans have done to them and colonize, right? Paint the whole picture and not just one little piece of
Yeah. No, and I think you're spot on. And if you would, you know, it's going to take courage, right? Like we know what this administration is doing. Like it's no longer a secret. It's not the quiet thing you whisper. It's not, the private conversation you have with your friends because I don't want to put my opinion out there. We've been through that. What do we have left to fear? Right? Fear is false evidence appearing real. And man, my God, we try to give the president of the United States the benefit of the doubt, especially when they're overseas, right? Because you shouldn't talk bad about your American leader when he's not at home. But I mean, the rest of the world is laughing at America. right? And I can tell you that America doesn't feel bad about it for the first time in their lives because we are being humbled, okay?
Mhm.
Fragile our democracy really is, and how engaged we need to be as a nation, and what better time to galvanize. This is why Project AF exists, you know? Do you know what the checks and balances are, or are you just believing what the next politician tells you when it's election time, when they show up to your church, when they
Right?
come into your community, vote for me, right? Do you even know your rights, to vote? Do you come up with a reason for, "Oh, well, they don't like Cheetos and I like Funyuns, so I'm going with the other guy." Like, we can't do that anymore. It's not even funny
We can't.
anymore,
We
right?
can't.
It's one where, again, what side of history do you wanna be on? I know what side Imma be on. And you also need to ask not just what side you wanna be on, what did you do in this moment that our children will learn about in AP US history one day? 25 years goes fast, right? If you can keep it, right? We don't know
Yeah,
what's ahead.
and I think to your point, like when you think about like the next steps, when you think about using your disagreements, there's a lot of people. Everyone, no one agrees with everybody 100% of the time. We are all individuals, and we have to remember that, accept that. And I think part of it too is that we have to understand, even though might not necessarily agree with somebody on this smaller issue, at the end of the day, there are some issues that are more important that we need to be able to see and agree on. And I think humanity is one of those topics that you can't really sit here and say this person deserved it, this type of life, and everyone else doesn't, or they needs to be killed. We need to all together like be say, oh, you know what? Even though they might be quote unquote aliens, which is demeaning and derogatory, they're humans. Sit here and just rip families apart because you would hated if Russia came here to the same thing to you. And so
Well,
it's
here's the
like,
thing. I just
mhm,
I really do, like, as a lover of history, especially Black history, but also being Black and learning Black history and then learning the colonial version, because that's how
mhm,
it happened for me. It is just quite interesting of a time because while we should be distressed, I love the fact that America's having to wake up, right?
yeah,
We are a
that is
very
true.
privileged nation. We are very privileged, and we're being shown right now, okay? What if we don't think to the best of our knowledge, this is what will happen. Anybody could just come in to be president of the free world, the most
Mhm.
powerful leader in the free world. We're not free in America right now, right? But that doesn't sound new to us. We're Black, right? It's the rest of America now saying, "Oh, it can happen to me." Oh, Renee Good got shot. God rest her soul. Oh my God, Alex Preddy, he got shot. He just was holding his phone and having his hand up. Black people have been screaming this. We've been saying it. All right. In the early 90s, what was it? Rodney King getting his ass whooped
Yeah,
on camera. Thank God for that white man who had his nice old
right.
camera rolling that footage. And even then, they acquitted the officers. Trayvon Martin was just getting Skittles, the iced tea in Sanford, Florida. And as someone who wanted to play Robocop, took his life and
Huh.
got off, standing his ground. Let me tell you another thing. ICE, we've already discussed this. If George Zimmerman wasn't so disgracing, he never interacted with Trayvon Martin,
Oh,
George Zimmerman would be ICE. Okay?
facts.
Let's be clear. It's a
That's
good
facts.
old boy militia
Hmm.
that has no rules. And billions of our money is what DC is deciding if they should get or not for whatever political leaning. This is the part where you got to call your damn representative, call your
Yeah,
senator, annoy them, show up. You know, if there's anything you could take away, I'm sure you saw Elon Omar. When she's at her presser and this guy sprays uh, vinegar on her,
right.
spewing this stuff at her. And what did she do? She went at him. She said, "I've escaped war." She's from Africa. That is the kind of fight. You see Jasmine Crockett, she went in her primary debate. She said to her opponent, who was quite well, sounded really good. That would have worked in old America. This is a new moment where we get to write the story together of what we want America to look like and eventually say we rebuke all sense of fascism. A couple generations ago, guess what? It was the Red Scare, right? The commies. Oh, wow. Now it's this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now it's this. Oh, don't you dare resist. Don't protest in America. What did Dr. King say? We just had it in our campaign. What did America say? Be true to what you say on paper. The
Exactly.
greatness of America is the right to protest for rights. Make it make sense, Donnie.
Real talk.
And then in this shooting situation, he's saying, oh, well, you can't bring guns. Well, NRA, the floor is yours. And they have spoken, But all of this ties into the anger that everybody should feel, right? Because eventually we're not just going to be able to watch football. Let's just not, let's just dribble, shut up and dribble. No, this is our life.
I think we're past that. I think COVID was that. I'm gonna keep saying this. COVID was that moment. God said, "You know what? Y'all all need to take a time out. Y'all need to go ahead, sit down in y'all's houses, and take a moment and just sit and look at."
And I was grateful.
And me too, right? But like that was the one that America had. We had a choice to make. It was either we can see what's going on and what's been going on and really understand it and learn from it and move forward, or we can keep it as business as usual. And there was a moment where we thought America was going to be able to go forward and make the changes for everybody in this country. But unfortunately, America didn't. They chose the latter, and that's why we're in that situation. And so because of that, that's what we're seeing. It takes, like you said earlier, it took what's happening now for everybody to really realize how this has been operating.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that, take politics out of it. There are some women who wanted to lead this country who has a thing or five to say. They warned us. They told us.
Very qualified women.
But tell us about her weird laugh. But tell us about her decades of service to this nation. Oh, the emails. That's what it was. The emails. Well, let's keep the same energy. Where's the files? You know what I mean? Where's the transparency? But all again, distraction was led to also the arrest of another journalist today who also was at this church protest. Okay. Georgia Fort is the name. She was arrested this morning. She narrated her arrest. This is the type of resistance we're talking about. And just hear for her words from a journalist's perspective.
You guys, I wanted to alert the public that agents are at my door right now. They're saying that they were able to go before a grand jury sometime, I guess, in the last 24 hours, and that they have a warrant for my arrest. I've talked to my attorney, and I'm being advised to go with them, I guess, down to Whipple. And my children are here. They're impacted by this. This is all stemming from the fact that I filmed a protest as a member of the media. We are supposed to have our constitutional right of the freedom to film, to be a member of the press. I don't feel like I have my First Amendment right as a member of the press. Because now federal agents are at my door arresting me for filming the church protest a few weeks ago. Again, I don't have a long time here, you guys, but I wanted you to know, for me, agents are at my door right now. My attorney has spoken with them. I did send a relative outside to talk to them. They're showing some type of documentation, apparently, that they got an indictment from a grand jury. I knew that I was on a defendant's list. I did not publish it because it was under seal. And so we've done everything that we can to try and abide by, the advice of our attorneys. But right now, you guys, I wanted you to know I'm going to have to hop off here and surrender to agents as a member of the press. I filmed the church protest a few weeks ago, and now I'm being arrested for that. It's hard to understand how we have a constitution, constitutional rights, when you can just be arrested for being a member of the press. We've seen all these violations. All right, you guys, I gotta go. They're knocking.
Yep, she's coming right now.
Give me 1 second.
Wow.
Sheesh.
All right, guys.
You want to
I mean, first of all, just shout out to her bravery,
For
right?
real.
Shout out to her bravery.
For the
You know,
plot.
the power of this device,
Hmm.
America needs to know. Record it. That's what they're doing. When ICE pulls up, they're taking your picture, taking your face. You don't know what they're doing with you. Document them back. This is the
Yeah.
time to be rebellious. You know, expose them for who they are. That's what all those protesters are doing. You know, they didn't incite this. They did what any journalist would do. In fact, as a real deal journalist who has Emmys to his name, oh, I would have done the same thing Don did. You document what's happening. I did not forcibly go into this place of worship where we should welcome all. Now we're contradicting the Christian nationalist way. I
Hmm.
thought we were supposed to be God's children, or did he have certain ones that he liked?
Right. And I say that the Face Act was the violation that he did, or something like
Yeah.
that. I don't. Have you heard of that? The Face Act. It's
Yes, I do. But when I tell you, they're literally. If you didn't read Project 2025, it is never too late.
oh.
You'll see it.
Mhm.
They're moving into phase 2. So
Yeah.
again, what will be left of your democracy when all of a sudden you want to pay attention?
Exactly.
You
It's
know?
writings on the. And that's what that's the scary part about this is that all this is part of the plan that they have been wanting to do for a very long. This has all been written out. This is not just like, oh, well, happened here, happened there. It's gonna take, like, the division is a part of the plan. And I think and
Yes.
I will say the one thing that's not is these Epstein files. And that's what we need to really be
There's the
holding to the,
cabal.
you know what I'm saying? Like that's what we need to really keep stand.
American just needs to think about it like this.
Hmm.
What do you want your country to look like? Don't tell me about what happened and all these years. What do you want to do right now? Because if there's anybody who needs to complain and complain the loudest, oh, let me tell you the quiet part out loud. It should be the black people,
Yeah.
right? It should be the black people, but we're not even approaching it. We just glad y'all here at the table. And we're saying, yes, welcome. Now talk nicely because we need to stay unified. All right, let's go about what we agree on. And then you realize we don't really disagree over anything because we are the creators of, we're the
Yep.
proponents and the fools of,
Hmm.
public opinion, right? What's cool, what's in, what's not. That's what makes society, right? Trump studied it. He's one of the best marketing and branding people you'll ever see in history who used it for horror. What has been done would never be accepted, right? But again, we can't live in the past and what would have been. What are our values as a country as we are
Right.
on the eve of hosting the World Cup? You got other nations saying, well,
Nope.
we don't know if we feel safe sending our people to America because of ICE. They don't represent America, but maybe they do. Maybe this is what America's represented as right now,
And I'm pretty
you
sure
know?
ICE, what was Italy's foreign minister, pretty much, or no, it wasn't Italy. Who was it? Someone was it? Yeah, we definitely had someone, because ICE apparently is going to be in Italy for the Olympics, and I believe they're like someone there. I don't know if it was their president, maybe it was prime minister. Pretty much was pretty initially against it. Yeah, yeah. Let's see, Italians deployment of ICE agents to bolster U.S. security at the, like, we're sending ICE to like other countries now. I thought ICE was just American. What is this? Are
Listen,
we
man.
transitioning to, like,
Yeah,
this
listen,
is
it
crazy.
is quite a time. There's actually so I queued up or sent you over a video. I think about this often. Trump and his followers or whatever's left of them, they used to laugh at Americans who were just appalled by his behavior. So they would call it Trump deranged syndrome,
Yeah.
TDS. Oh my God. And the reality is I can tell you, my entire journalism career has been centered around him being in America's psyche. I
Hmm.
remember when I first started covering him, when I worked in Birmingham, Alabama. What a place to be at that time, right? And that was the beginning when Hillary Clinton was supposed to run. I remember being at Hillary Clinton's watch party, You know, and I also was thinking, like, where the hell had these Democrats been in Alabama? I've never seen you guys. Where are you guys hiding? Right? Because I just know I'm in red territory. But again,
Yeah.
that's a different America I thought I was witnessing. Remember the Charleston Nine that was just massacred by Dylan Roof, you know, the racist, you know, who shot them while he was bowing with them in prayer. Right. Then that sparked off the debate of Confederate statues, and the same-sex marriage just became law. Oh no, the silent majority was clutching their pearls, and thus Trump saw the bait and knew exactly what to stoke in America, right?
Wow.
And they fell for it, right?
Yep.
And I say all that to say to you, I then covered his first inauguration when they sent me from Alabama back to my home area in the DMV. You know, I'm from Baltimore, but they sent me to DC. I remember being happy to just be back somewhat closer north to, you know, busy city life. But if you cue it up and go to 708 in the video, 708 in the video, there's a package that I did that I think is so poignant to see what did Trump's supporters think about him at that time in his first administration on day one versus what we are seeing today. And I would love to get your reaction on the other side of it.
Let's see.
Because it is profound what, you know, how duped.
Or not.
I should be protected under the First Amendment, just like all of the journalists who I've been advocating for too. I've been advocating for mainstream media journalists who have been brutalized for months. Do we have a constitution? That is the pressing question that should be on the front of everyone's minds. And so to everybody who showed up today, thank you. Please continue to support the other people who are being charged. Obviously, because there's ongoing litigation, there is not much that I can say beyond what I'm saying now. But amplifying the truth, documenting what is happening in our community is not a crime. And the questions that were asked a few weeks ago on a Sunday morning by concerned community members, those questions still need to be answered. And as a journalist, I am committed to continuing to follow the story until their questions are.
So again, that was Georgia Fort. Again, praise to the higher power that she is safe and that she's okay. She's been released along with Don Lemon. Again, both of them arrested today by the Trump administration, despite 2 court orders denying their request to seek that warrant. But it's good to see that they are safe. They're lawyered up and doing whatever they have to do. Again, that's the Friday night news dump happening in the midst of the Epstein files that's been dropped. It's a lot going on. But as we get back into it, as we get back into it, Breland, you got the video ready. You just want to cue it up for folks. You know, again, this is my reporting I did as part of the CBS affiliate in Alabama,
in DC, and only one Alabama
and
station
we went.
was
And I just want you guys to see and get a sense of what people were saying at that time, what they had expectation of, you know, and really just compare that to what you're seeing today, right? Because as we know, the goalpost for Trump supporters have moved quite a lot, but in the status of where we are here in America now, it'll be quite profound to see. If you could go to 703 or 708, excuse me. There we go.
What they think he will do now that he is the leader of the free world.
We begin, though, with CBS 42 News reporter Stefan Dingle. And Stefan, it has been a day. We talked earlier about it has been marked by celebration and protest, but all eyes on Donald Trump right now.
Yeah, sure. What a long day. Today there was a lot of uncertainty among not only his protesters, but supporters as well, as when he gave his address, he stuck to script saying he's going to try to make America truly great again.
It's the greatest day that I've had. I mean, things is fixing to change.
Optimism and hope after President Donald Trump addressed the nation, saying he will bring change to Washington.
I think it's an America First message, which is really important because we can't be worrying about other people if we don't have our own problems figured out, you know?
Even in the eyes of protests, one anti-Trump woman said she's not necessarily against the new president.
I want him to succeed, but I'm against his policies.
I gotta put my hope in him because there's no, like you said, he's our president. There's no other reality. It's reality. So I'm gonna put my hope in him and hope he does the best.
And his supporters have all the hope in the world, barring a surprise from Congress. Do you have any concerns, if any, going forward about President Trump?
He just needs to keep his mouth harnessed.
The biggest thing.
Kellyanne Conway will do that for him. She'll harness his mouth.
Now, Sherry, there are not only concerns about what Donald Trump says, but also what he tweets now that he has been sworn in officially as the next president. He announces over that Twitter handle of POTUS that Obama has given him, but he said he's also going to keep his personal account, which has millions of followers.
Well, you know, President Obama kept his personal account, but my understanding is that the Secret Service didn't allow him to use it.
Yeah,
so
we'll see how that works.
I see you. I see you.
I mean, how ironic of a
Yeah,
story, right?
It's like,
if he
that was a
keep his
great
mouth
soundbite,
harnessed-
right?
I mean, they had concern going in, Breland.
Yeah.
Okay? They had concern because they had common sense, which is no longer common. You know, people say, oh, it's like a cult. It's like, do people actually understand how cults work? If they keep saying the lie, eventually you get exhausted and you just say, oh, let me guess. Oh, the 2020 election was stolen. Oh, let me guess. They were hiding the votes in Georgia. Oh, let me guess. They were peaceful protesters on January 6th. I mean, what the hell? And then eventually, as America, we have been so passive.
Yes.
Okay, so passive. And then we hold those who could get that out of there and at least work together on where we do meet each other, but you're a decent person. And we threw that away because we thought, oh, this businessman who's never been a real businessman, right? It's been proven. It's been a fraudulent life. It's been an inheritance. If you know the story of Donald Trump, you will know that his father did not think too highly of him. He went off to military school. Okay, when he said, I love being there because I love the structure and he wants to be a strong man. That explains his entire personality of how he is running this presidency. And that, let's not forget the 25th Amendment type stuff that's happening in front of our eyes every day, mixing up countries, insulting leaders, world leaders to their face, where that whole supporter group said, oh, look, he's really sticking it to them. No, he's embarrassing America. That's not how we do things. That is not how we do things. And now we have our neighbors to the north, who I love dearly, okay, showing us what a real nation is supposed to do and how they're supposed to lead. Jake Carney, oh, he is showing you exactly what a country's leader is supposed to do. He is speaking forward to the future, protecting this nation. Canadians are this or that. I'm not envious of Canadians. I love being an American, a Black American from Baltimore City, born and raised with the lineage of ancestors who toiled this land, right? That means something for my white counterpart or my first generation counterpart from some other country where their parents or ancestors came here as immigrants. I mean, let's get over ourselves, America. You know, this is the humbling moment. What are you going to say that you did? Because we can't help the folks who had hope and they believed in something. What are we going to believe in as a nation? And that is, again, why this entire platform exists. Think about the conversations we got to have and be honest about. That's why we're planning, you know, conversations around this, you know, bonfire type conversations, you know, around ICE, around who we want to be as Americans. How we want to invite immigrants because they make our country actually greater. There's no need to be great again. We were great, but now, oh, we've got a bar to lift up.
And we've got to reclaim.
Harsh course correct is on its way.
And that's where we go back to what Don Lemon said, which is we got to be right now comfortable.
Very much so.
With being uncomfortable. We have to take action. And if it's simply calling for you all to get the switchboard to get in touch with your senators, and that's the start. If it's liking a post, if it's sharing a post, you don't have to do it on. You don't have to do it on your, go, do a whole crazy caption. Just share with someone who you care about, because that's what it's going to take. Just the small the small steps for us to make a big impact. And
Yes. You just got to remember. You just got to remember this. It is free. It is free. So, as far as we know, at least till now, it is free in America to go read. Everybody got one of these. Read.
Yes.
Read again, America. Please read. Click more than one link, and do not have entertainment or these bots. It's just a lot of misinformation out there. But please just use your common sense, right?
It's
Just
funny
use
you
it.
said misinformation, right? So I was my wife Ellen, she was looking at, shout out to Elle. She was
No.
typing in something for verbatim quotes about immigration, and GPT said it isn't designed to provide this type of content. Read this model spec for more on how ChatGPT handles creators' content. So, right, because it's like how ChatGPT is not giving you things that don't go along. From my perspective, I'll send this. I can post this up there too. But I just find it very fascinating that, like, going to your point, we find these different ways of when we condition ourselves into getting information the easy route. We're also conditioning ourselves to just taking information face value instead of actually being able to have the raw, which is what we used to. Um, that I think is important for us, like you said, to reclaim. That's something that I think all of us, sometimes see a video, I'm like, hold up, and I got to pause for a second and just say, you know what, let me do some research, right? So we're hoping here
Yep.
where we can be a part of that process for you all, giving you all true information, true, real, honest, on what's going on right now, better tomorrow. And so with that, I mean, I think we should just close it. How should we close this out today?
Listen, all I say is this, I would tell you, oh, stay encouraged. I'm not. Get angry. Get angry. When you wake up every day, you should wake up figuring out how much angrier can I get? Okay? Because it is only going to take that and the galvanization and how you channel that anger by community galvanization, educating yourself. Remember, reading is free for right now in America, right? Don't be fooled by the way that they try to ban the books. They don't want America to be an educated nation about the history of this
Well, let me
country.
just pause you right there because I'm on the board here in Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm on the library board, and I'm gonna let you know that we're
Yeah.
not banning no books in this city as long as I'm on the board here. So let me just put that on the record.
Well, that's one city. That's one city. That's one city, but go outside your
Yes.
city limit, and we got a lot of other problems, right?
True.
We have. I mean, this is. Do you understand? Like, get angry. Read. Know what the history is. Remember, everybody wants to just, yeah, bro, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna protest this, and they don't even know what they're protesting about, right? Be informed. They are relying on your stupidity. Okay, understand. Remember how we were claiming, oh my God, Confederate statue doesn't represent who we are as a country. Oh my God. Guess why it was put there? Because the women who did not fight in the Civil War, oh no, they were lower class citizens. They tend the home. But you know what they did? Those white women, the daughters of the Confederacy. You should look that up.
Exactly. Yeah.
You should look it up. When all their men were dead in the fields, especially near Gettysburg, one of the deadliest wars of the Civil War. Again, reading is free. They decided, we're going to honor them. We're going to write their story and their legacy. And we're going to erect statues. And they galvanized money to build these marble things. And they stood the test of time. And they taught the kids in the schools and all of this. And that's why when I worked in Alabama at that time, I was amazed. Because there is a blanket of complacency. When I go to new cities and be a journalist, right? I love driving through the parts that look like me. The worst of it. The best of it. I want to be everywhere because I want to know what is it the black people like here who look like me. And I felt it was a great blanket of complacency. Oh, well, that's just how they do. I'm from Baltimore. We don't see Confederate flags. So when I'm in Alabama and all of a sudden we just flying it like it's, hey, good old Dixie. My God, today. That took a minute for me to adjust to. But I just try to mind my business, do my job. But I can tell you, I've been a multimedia journalist or solo journalist, as many of you would understand, and sent to sundown cities with common sense and always a game plan of how I will use my camera equipment to defend myself. Take the camera off, throw it in the car because I ain't got that in my check of the little bit of money I was making at the time, and let me grab these sticks and swing the metal part. That was my thought every time. And I can't believe I did it, right? But I loved working in Alabama. I got to get to know all kinds of people, many people who I surprised, right? I'm from Baltimore. What are you doing all the way down here? Hey, blah, blah, blah. And I would just relate to them. That's how I got victims' parents to talk to me. Hey, I have a brother who's your son's age, and I fear getting that phone call. Talk to me immediately. Some didn't, and that's okay, but they walked away knowing I cared about them. And I learned that the stories that are in Alabama helped me tell the stories that were in Louisville, which is where I went afterwards, and then Breonna Taylor happened, right? I know what protest looks like. Do you not remember around that same time we being in Alabama? Remember, it was like a week and a half of like black men being shot by police. And then the Dallas thing happened where the vet shot up, the piece of walk, and all of a sudden they had to shoot and kill this black man who's a veteran who had mental health issues. But that's what the narrative, because politics, Trump, let's stoke it. Oh, yeah, see, BLM, he was with Antifa. They run with it on Fox. That breathes 2020. They stormed the Capitol. Fox is a part of selling the lies, and then they get sued by Dominion, okay, for spreading Trump's lies. Are we keeping up? Trump's dead in the water. We give him energy again because a black woman was set to become president of the United States. Never mind that. Before that, Joe Biden was going to be reelected president until we wanted to make his stuttering and him being a elder statesman, okay, who's been through a life of tragedy. We wanted to put him on the ringer, and mainstream media, which I used to be a part of, I guess I'm local media, okay? But the mainstream media spun the narrative up, which is why ever since the election, I have not been able to watch cable TV news in a substantive way, because I don't need you. I don't want you to lend voice to somebody who has an opinion. They're not giving me information I can use about my life right now, right? My mortgage is due. My car note's due. We got to put food in the house. It's tax season. It's snowing out here. It leaks in the house. Thank God I don't have it. But that everybody got a something. Some people still don't have a job. So again, I ask, I'm not here to give you encouragement. Get angrier. Get angrier. If I'm a journalist who has decided to walk away from local TV news and do my own independent media to tell stories the way I want to, that is my spirit finally catching up with my body, okay? Because I would be derelict in the problem if I was still doing it the traditional way and just saying, oh, well, said news outlet said, I can't say this because we don't have this confirmed. We don't want to speak the truth. That's what America want right now. That's why their numbers are low. I mean, look at CBS News. We don't even recognize it. And I've been as long as I've been a journalist, I've worked for CBS as an affiliate or the network my entire career. I think I know it quite well. You revere it. Remember Walter Cronkite? I remember that guy. I remember when he reported to America the death of JFK. Wow, what a way to lead that moment. Now we're over here giving license to a fascist government who, by the way, CBS News is owned by a billionaire that Trump approved the deal for. He sued CBS for $12 million for a perfectly fine interview he did with a candidate of the United States. He just sued the IRS for the leaking of his tax returns that he has never shown America like every other president has done. Now, you, again, tell me, how much angrier do you need to be? I'm a journalist. I have nothing to lose. If this makes me not credible as a journalist because I'm speaking the truth, then so goddamn be it, right? But I am a Black American first. I do know what my ancestors fought and died for. I love voting. I would love for you to love voting and actually know who the hell you're voting for instead of just complaining once they're in there and say they got to go. And then when it's time to pick the next, we got stuff to do. Oh, we got that vacation. JetBlue holiday. It's feeling like a JetBlue holiday here in America right now.
Real talk.
God bless.
It's time. And I think, Stefan, you said it right. It's action. Get mad.
Action.
Make a
I ain't
move.
trying to hear nothing.
Exactly.
I need action.
Exactly. Call
That's it.
your state senator.
Show
Call.
up. Find something to
show
do.
up. Yes. Do it.
Calling the senators is only the first start. Call them, tweet them, Facebook them, X them, all of that. Speak it.
Everything.
If something's happening, put it out there. Inform your uncles, your aunties, and everybody. Yeah, look, Thanksgiving and Christmas ain't till later this year. We can make it there. Have the conversation. Anybody trying to have no ghetto summer? You think America's just going to be fine all of a sudden when it gets warm again?
No.
Oh, I love being in the dead of winter. We just got to deal with it and sit in the house and do something. We got to sit in our thoughts. This is a time for America. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to be an American right now. And I hope that people sit in that. I'm fine with that. Maybe we should be embarrassed, so we can stop sitting on these principles of grandpa and them. Well, grandpa and them ain't here. They gave you the goddamn baton, and this is what America still is. They would be disappointed. Yeah. But for the future, I have a child. You'll one day be a dad. I'm worried about what this is going to mean for my daughter when my black behind ain't here no more. But look at what we're doing. Yeah. Look at what you think we want to sit here and just do this. No, we'd rather be sitting down on a Friday night, eating some Chinese, some drinking back a brew or something. Come on, wake up. What is the weekend really?
Real talk. I think you said that very well. Hey, everybody, have a good night. Have a good weekend. And if anything, make sure you all have action, subscribe to what we're doing. And hey, take the steps. Just one step at a time. It's one step at a time.
Yes.
All right.
Have a good weekend, y'all. Get angry.
Peace.